98% of soccer players don't know how D1 actually works. It's a lot more complicated than you think, and it took me a whole year during my freshman experience to actually fully understand what it's like. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the full D1 system and how it actually works and everything you need to know before you get there. My name is Stefano Lagostini, and I currently play D1 at Brown University. I'm a center back, and I went through my first freshman year experience, and I learned everything I needed to know about D1 soccer. So number one is the D1 and NCA League Structure. There's around 200 D1 teams around the whole conference in the US, and they're split into small conferences. Those conferences could be ACC, Big 10, Pac-12, the Ivy League. They all have like 6 to 12 teams in the league, and you play those teams throughout the season every single year. So the regular season is around 16 to 18 games, and those are all regular season games. There's specific NCAA rules that teams have to follow during the fall season. You can only train 20 hours a week, and during the off season, it's around 8 hours a week. Most teams are allowed to 25 players to 34 players in each D1 team, and your conference plays a big part in your chances of qualifying to the NCAA tournament. For example, if you play in the ACC, Big 10, or Pac-12, you have a harder chance of qualifying to the NCAA tournament because of the competitiveness in your league. The NCAA tournament, or the College Cup, is the most important tournament that you're going to be playing as a D1 player. Only 48 teams qualify, and you have to compete against 200 teams around the US to qualify and get a spot to play in the tournament. The 48 teams consist of 24 conference champions, which means teams that won their conference. So how it works is the 25 conferences that are divided between the 200 teams have to win their league to qualify to the NCAA tournament. If you win your league, you get an automatic bid to the tournament. 24 other spots go to the highest nationally ranked teams that get their ranking based off how many wins they got, or their RPI. So teams qualify based off their rating percentage index, which means the highest ranked teams throughout the D1 soccer season qualify and have an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. This year in the Ivy League, 3 teams qualified to the NCAA tournament and 1 won the conference. So that means 2 other teams, UPenn and I forgot who it was, they qualified straight to the NCAA tournament because of their ranking. So the tournament's a single match elimination, and it's around a month of the tournament being played. So the non-conference games get played first. You usually play these games around August to September. And remember, these matches don't count towards your conference league standing, but it does count for your RPI, which allows you to automatically qualify to the NCAA tournament. So winning these games, even if they're not in your league, is very important because it's an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Then in the second half of the regular season, you usually play your conference league games to see if you get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. So there's a lot of strategy and approaches that D1 soccer coaches and teams use to get a good RPI, a good national ranking. So what I didn't know until I started playing was that the coaches organize with the other coaches and teams who they're going to play against during the season. So coaches set up 1 to 2 year contracts, home and away games with the teams that they want to play for. So for example, our coach could set up games versus easy opponents and have a chance of having a good RPI. Or your coach could set up games with highly ranked teams, and if you lose, that affects your RPI. So it's all a strategy in terms of who you're going to play. So the full season timeline is something that I didn't know until I experienced it and went through the full year. It's really from July to August is when you start your preseason. And your preseason is around 2.5 weeks where you do fitness testing, double sessions, double practices, and it's a lot. So from August to November, you play your conference league and your regular season games throughout the whole season. And then if you qualify to the NCAA tournament, you play from November to December until the final. Then what most people don't know is what you do after the season. Well, we got a 1 month break. After the 3 weeks were done, we trained for a week in December, and then we had the whole month off until January 25th. Then the spring season starts, where you're only allowed to play 4 to 5 friendlies through the whole season, and you're only allowed to train 8 hours a week. The spring season is more chill compared to the fall season, as you're not constantly doing everything around soccer. In the spring season, you have more time for everything and anything you want to do. Then comes summer, and then preparation for preseason. Then after spring season, you're officially done for the whole year, and then you have summer. Finally, something that I didn't know was how substitution works in D1 soccer. So it works really like basketball. If I'm playing in the first half and your coach doesn't like how you're playing, he can literally sub you off, and then you're out for the whole half, but then you could play again in the second half. So D1 teams with a lot of roster players and players in the bench could literally spam this tactic, where if one player has really bad stamina, you can just get replaced really quick. And also if you're playing bad, you just get replaced really quick. And really, like, D1 soccer works like that because it's very competitive. If you're playing bad, you easily get replaced. So be prepared for that and train harder if you're bad. And that's really it, guys. I'm going to be explaining more stuff of how D1 soccer actually works, but that's really much it. it. My season starts in a week and a half, and I'm excited to show you guys my season, and stay tuned for it. This is my Instagram right here. Subscribe, like it, and peace out, boys.